Hi, I'm Douglas Kruger. Today I'd like to chat with you about the 7 stages that you'll go through in positioning yourself as an industry expert as you move from Amoeba to icon. These are the stages that you'll go through, and of course everyone finds themselves at different phases with perhaps an element of number 3 and a little bit of number 4, but ask yourself today, where do you rank? Let's get started. As you enter an industry, you are the industry drone. At this point in time, you are as dumb as soup. You enter a company and you don't know what you're doing. You walk around the corridors with that deer caught in the headlights gaze, and even the intern won't bring you a cup of coffee because he's been there for a week longer than you. So the drone phase, realistically, it's your first job. You may not even want to be a part of this industry. You're looking around, you're trying to find your feet. What comes next? Stage number 2 is novice. You've now actually found an industry that you care about, but really you're just learning the ropes. You do the things that you have to do because you're told what to do. Everything that you do is reactive. You have a boss, you have a terrifying industry, you don't know who any of the names are, essentially you're learning the ropes. From there, you progress to stage number 3, at which point you are a practitioner. Now, a practitioner is still reactively taking orders from a boss, but the difference here is that the practitioner is starting to observe the other people around him or her and starting to care about his or her own performance. In other words, at this stage, you're starting to compare yourself to others and think, can I do better? Can I go further? Can I be more? It's becoming more and more apparent to you that you are part of an entire universe and you're starting to care about it. From that point, you move on to becoming a specialist. Now, as I often say in my talk on expert positioning, if you have all the knowledge in the world but no personality, you are a specialist. If you have all the personality but none of the knowledge, you are a Kardashian. What is a specialist? Essentially, this is a person who is starting to act with their own initiative. They understand their industry and the world around them to a sufficient degree that they can do things by design. They're using their own initiative. By this stage, they may or may not need a boss or an authority figure, any kind of leadership. They're thinking for themselves, they are starting to interact with the world around them, and moreover, they're starting to see the relevance in going to things like industry conventions, getting to know the key people, and making sure that the key people know who they are. They're beginning to develop a reputation. Then, they progress to the point of becoming an authority. Now, an authority has been in the game long enough that the person starts to have opinions about how things work, starts to be approached about advice on how to go about things in this industry. The authority is starting to become a respected and known figure. They're also starting to hear the phrase, you know who you should talk to, and people will tag their name to the end of that line. After that, you progress on to being a thought leader. Now, being a thought leader is an interesting development because that's when the business starts coming to you. That's when the media comes to you for advice. And that's when the industry looks to you for how things should be done. Of course, that implies that by this stage, you are actually acting in unique ways and using your own initiative so much that you are telling the industry how it should work rather than the other way around. What happens if you keep that up long enough? Well, you progress to the point where you become a legend. Now, an industry legend has been so excellent for so long and has been the definitive leadership and the icon that people say that's the name in that industry. And in fact, all of them have it. If you think of realms like the world of skateboarding, the legend is Tony Hawk. If I have to give you the term bodybuilding, chances are, like 98% of my audiences, you'll first have thought of Arnold Schwarzenegger. If I say daytime TV talk shows, it's Oprah that springs to mind. These are the people who have been the thought leadership for so long that their name is at the forefront of an industry. And of course, that's worth a great deal of money to them, and more than that, it is deeply personally satisfying. Where do you rank right now in terms of the 7 stages of becoming an icon in your industry? My name is Douglas Kruger. Position yourself as an expert and own your industry.